Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is my attempted Christmas or whatever tradition you celebrated under gift for my viewers, for my channel's audience. But I'm not very good at this. And first of all, please excuse the minimalistic setup where I didn't even have the energy to truly make a true decoration, not even an attempt. But these are those times where whatever anyone, and this goes for every single one of us, can dish out, and it is something truly coming from the heart, well, that's enough. That has to be enough. And also, next year, well, the nodes of the moon, the nodes of destiny, as they are called, also are shifting signs into Pisces. Virgo axis, where it is Pisces which holds the north node, the path forward. The best way to probably explain that in a very easy to understand way is where the energetic, emotional, and motivational modus operandi for the next 18 months. But those 18 months are karmic in certain ways in certain areas of life. And in Pisces, it's all about the dream. Let's dream it. But the South Node in Virgo, it is all about let's release, because that's the South Node always releasing. Let's release. The devil is in the details, simply said. So, however, we receive something under the North Node and Pisces, I'm very sure that we can find something to appreciate in it. So this is basically in the nutshell the North Node type of energy, what it's gonna do in a nutshell. And also, I would like to apologize that this year I think I can include all of 2024. I didn't really put as much effort and perhaps aesthetic into my channel as I could have. I barely could even show my face, so there's that. But again, we are living times when it's not easy for anyone. So I am very, very grateful and appreciative for everyone who stayed with me, despite the fact that my channel is really just a chaotic mess of information randomly tossed at you sometimes without even a minimal wrapping. This when someone gives you a present, but just as it is. No wrapping whatsoever, just hands it over to you. But again, it kind of is what it is. The other thing is that um, I also kind of realized very, very late, but eventually realized that like every kind of channel, every kind of YouTube channel, regardless the topic and the theme, and regardless of how principalistic and stubborn and insane the owner of the channel is, you kind of have to share something about yourself. And I have been avoiding that very, very efficiently until this moment, but I kind of realized it in the perspective of the big picture, because this is another astrology detour before we even get to the unwrapping the gift. Um, the Gemini energy is very, very active at this present moment and will continue to do so for a lot of years coming. At least 7-ish. Doesn't matter really why right now. But this is where Gemini experienced a massive all of Gemini's energy, not just the people, anything that is Gemini, and everything and everyone equally, because everyone has Gemini in their chart. So Gemini in itself, as a divine construct, it was the internet before the internet, so to speak. Because Gemini was always the walking encyclopedia, the dating app. Because the Gemini itself was just a person, right? But that person, driven by something, was immersed in many dimensions of life, of society, of experiences. The duality of Gemini made that person know a little bit in everything, where, actually, this is such a good example. A cleric in a more classical ages, well, in a way, it had to knew evil as well, especially the more higher up in the ladder, the more experienced, the more spiritual muscle, the more it had to knew evil. Because how else can you know what you're protecting, or call it however, against, right? That's Gemini. It has to know a little bit about anything, not too much. Of course, not too much also, and this goes very much about modern Geminis, because the mental, let's not even put it to the physical, just the mental sphere should ideally have a lot of free space, not to be stacked up like a hoarder, someone with severe hoarding disorders, right? That's not good. Neither with courses, with training, with teaching. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is power under certain healthy circumstances. Otherwise, it's a burden that will dumb you, and you think that it's doing the exactly opposite. It will, as a physical, natural human being, it dumbs you. It does you a massive disservice. So know that not every knowledge is worth sacrificing for. Not every movie is worth watching. Not every book is worth reading. Not every song is worth listening to. Not every art is your cup of tea. And the limitations here, Saturn, where I don't offer myself this experience and the curiosity has no power over me, is the gold. The permissiveness and the freedom is the bad. Bad in the sense that it dilutes you. It makes you waner and waner and waner and waner. And you don't know this. You don't feel this. But in energy, you're loading, you're hoarding. A hoarder needs to get to a certain stage, because to a certain stage, when they admit that, okay, I might have a problem here. Brute information without passion, or the need for survival, or whatever, or even hatred. Understand in the right context what you fear or are against, so you need to study. Like it or not, because that's the wisdom of it. You see? But that's a strong emotional and motivational charge, because it's your enemy and you study it. This and Pluto in Aquarius. Let's just be wiser to begin with. Let's not hoard knowledge, because it's a burden. So this is Gemini. But Gemini lost its job and had to reprofile itself, because not just the simple internet, because Gemini and the internet, simply just the internet, were good colleagues. But the artificial intelligence, the fact that it can even speak and interact with you in a acceptable way, where you say that yes, I'm speaking with a machine, okay, but I'm convert and it understands me, to the minimalistic, of course, put it into context level, that is acceptable, for example, to be a vending machine, or I don't know. But it replaced a part of all air signs. All air signs. In any way, shape, and form. Even if when the air sign is actually a person with a sun sign. It changed. Now Gemini and the Gemini function in every air sign, and generally speaking, is truly being the butterfly learning to fly for the first time, because their role is different, they're upgraded, they're right now, they're not any, I mean, the walking encyclopedia put that in the trash. The AI took that position. So by Gemini, you're fired. But when you kind of lose a very general job, right? No problem. That's when you can get down personal level. That's the upgrade, really. You're still what you are, but on a more personal level than you ever been. Not necessarily just in your life, but in your existence as a part of reality itself. So that means that you're having a wonderful but hard, right? Wonderful but very, very not easy to navigate, confusing and hard learning experience, but your senses are developing, you're anticipating people's thoughts and needs and anything before it even happens. You're discovering that you're just like a bee, a strong symbol for Gemini. Just like a bee, you have senses. You find yourself truly being a bro or a sis, and this being a massive superpower for you in ways you could have never ever imagined, and not ways which the mundane brings, ways which karma, fate, the uncontrollable brings to the table, unusual alliances, the neighbor. You are that neighbor, the fantastic, magical, mommy, daddy for everyone neighbor, or you are the alien type of neighbor who everyone loves, or you are the typical classical part of Gemini, which doesn't ever change. Where should I begin to look for whatever I'm interested in? You go to the Gemini neighbor. If I were you, the Gemini says, and that's what you need. It opens it. It's like the minimal compass of where even to begin. The rest is complicated, of course, and you have to figure it out. But the first motivator is very much the Gemini something, in the sense that whatever role they occupy, bros, whatever they're still bro sis, but the neighbor, the friend, the colleague, I'm just looking for the appropriate term here. The more than just friend, whatever, but the more than just friend type of energy, even that in an indirect way, that's written in the Gemini's repertoire, because the tarot lover's card is, you don't have to do anything, but you're still a lover. Just that you need to find a proper point of view to identify how and in which way in your life. It's not necessary. Most of the time, it's not the classic. Most of the time, you inspire that XYZ who you not even suspect in your deepest dream, or that person who, again, you don't even suspect has a crush on you, or you're someone's role model and you are totally oblivious. You don't need to know, right? Mercury at its finest when retrograde. So anyway, and this doesn't go for Gemini natives. This goes for absolutely everyone and anything, because we have Gemini in our charts. You changed. Things changed. Your role changed. It's a blessing that the AI took the dirty work off your hands, because now you're truly the twin. You truly embrace the power of Castor and Pollux, right? And Gemini is host to a certain really wonderful fixed stars. I don't even want to name them, because every sign is special in their own right, and every sign hosts some special. So let's not make other signs all that much jealous. So going back to the energy, uh, things changed very, very, very much. So even I have to embrace the change. So let me share a little bit about my journey, especially in 2024, where tarot, has been always part of my channel, not as much this year, and there is a very good reason for it. I needed it in my personal life to understand what's going on with me and, the personal drama and everyone's personal existential crisis. But the thing that it was my therapist, and sadly, I mean this in a literal way. Like, this isn't symbolic. This is that, I don't know, pathetic situation where it's literal, where it's like textbook. It had to be textbook. So I had to somehow pull out of nowhere, that degree of mastery, which I am not, as my chart or my design as a being, I am not built for that mastery. It is where you put an operating system on an old computer. It might work, but chances are, it breaks it. This is how it was for me. And it broke me a little, as in, oh, my brain became so sluggish, but it did the work of a therapist. And again, not symbolically, really. And if I would just say this to who helped you, recommend that therapist, astrologer, psychologist, priest, whatever, who help. And I would, my tarot decks, or who do I recommend? I don't know. Saint Teresa, or the spirit of Rasputin, or who do I recommend? Because they will definitely lock me up in the crazy house, if I am honest. And yet, I don't know, this is the situation where it's both sad, because how can you end up in the situation where you don't trust anyone in that degree, that it has to be tarot who tells you the truth to the face, instead of others, instead of a living, breathing being. And this is, I cannot fault others. This is me. Like the wild animal who, no matter what you do, will not trust you. Doesn't matter. You have to sedate it. There's no choice. It's not even cruelty. So yeah, but it kind of, I can't use it anymore in the way I used to, especially not publicly. if you are my, I don't know, again, neighbor, because I'm a Gemini myself, neighbor or whatever, and you have this problem, I'm going with my deck to you, no problem. You don't even need to ask me. But just to, I don't know, dish it out, I don't know what changed in me, but because this is just a feeling, I don't feel I don't feel it. I feel like I'm raping myself, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain this. Like being naked in public. And that I used to do it, I don't know, without even a slightest effort before this experience. Because just go back to my previous picker cards and stuff like that. Mm, it was so, in a way, like easy. Now I can't because it feels different. It feels like it's too intimate. I don't know how to explain it. It is just a feeling. It might be all in my head, but it is. What can I do? So that's why I don't really share tarot anymore. And I'm very sorry for the viewers who I disappoint and who loved that the most. But I just can't do it publicly. But again, in case of any emergency, that's not a problem at all, but that's one-on-one, right? That, and even emergency, not curiosity. Emergency. It has to be emergency. So yeah. But this being said, that's why it's a gift, because I wouldn't usually do this. And the theme is, let's put everything together into one, right? Capricorn solstice, the karmic theme for the next 3 months. But then we're actually in the last days of 2024. So it's, like winter celebration, Christmas, and non-astrological, but still traditional new beginning for very many people who have the 1st of January, New Year. That it does, let's not even come with theories, which calendar, what's true and not. For many people, that is a new beginning because they live it that way. That is a new beginning. So there's that. And of course, there is Mars retrograde, which is the main flavor season, the core of the energy in any way, shape, even astrologically, but also the feeling wise, emotionally, because Mars determines what we do, and Mars in Cancer, not yet, but very soon. Well, very emotional and very what I feel, very, very what I feel. So all of this wrapped into one type of pick a card, and I'll try to make it very, very simple. Because the tarot itself is gonna be just 50% of it. Let's use other type of divination, right? So these are 3 separate decks, all that were gifted to me, so very dear to me. Let's say that this is the first one, second one, and third one. Choose whichever resonates. These are just the clarifiers. So I'll take these 2 away. I must remember this was the second one, yeah. And let us begin. Again, the theme is any guidance, and especially not in a necessarily predictive way, but rather just guidance for the karmic period in whatever side of it the divine thinks it's more relevant side of the next 3 months. And again, it includes Mars retrograde. So we have the Four of Swords. So whoever chose this pile says the Tarot of the Crystal World. I love this deck so much. So if you're watching this, thank you, Ishti, for the gift. You are feeling a bit totally out of sync with time. Either your sleeping pattern, I'm not saying that it's where lack of sleep, but it's weird. Too much sleep can be, or fatigue. Or this is where, just look at the image. It's not scary at all, but it's definitely not dynamic. And it's even a child, right? And a child usually should be all sounds, laughter, games, or naughtiness, or even cry. Nah, this is a very peaceful baby in its own little world. Totally. And look at the little blush. Well, the baby is very comfortable there, but it's not necessarily living its baby life, is it? Oh, sleep is a big part of it. However, as I said, it's not dynamic. It's not full of the that type, the action packed, let's feel everything type of positive, but rather the I'm in my own world type of, but passively, I'm a vegetable, but so very happy type of positive, but positive is positive. However, I do sense that while whatever this means to you has its comfortable side, it also has the background where just because I am not opening the overthinking folder and watching it on a live stream, that doesn't mean that it's not recording itself, if you know what I mean. It is almost like when you miss a live stream. Sorry, the microphone fell. When there's a live stream and you miss it, no problem. It's there, uploaded, recorded. You can. That's the type of peace and quiet, or sleep, or passivity, or the comfort is scary even. And maybe some of you guys, you don't even know how you're pulling it off, because there is a lot to overthink about. So there's this side of the coin. And it's a bit stagnant despite not being stagnant. Because you might have a lot of action in your life, but I want to say I sense more like Virgo action, where the autopilot is very, very active. But that doesn't mean that you are feeling progress, you're feeling satisfaction, completion, moving towards, you're not feeling any of that. So the autopilot does not move you on a soul level. The Ten of Swords reversed. Like this, yeah. Well, the Ten of Swords reversed is where it's not doom and gloom type of, I really don't care anymore. It's the prayer of it's a bit, in theory, it's the prayer of serenity, but without the magic, without the deep faith, without the emotion. Just, oh, I can't be bothered. This is where I can't be bothered. I'm going to bed. Or you can understand this in a very deep inner way where a part of you is in bed, refusing to get out. And the other part of you just has to struggle, and there's no way getting that other side. That, regardless of your real gender, you will not get that the man side out of bed from your inner universe. It is not operational right now. It is not necessarily in its most potent, playful, cheerful mood. So you can, you know, agitate it, want to punish it, be rough on it, but that won't mean much. So, when a stubborn dog, especially a stubborn male dog, when he's not having it. He's not getting up. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of traffic or you have to climb the stair and his weight, and he sat down by. A part of your being is like that. So the best thing you can do is, even if it exasperates you, leave it alone. Because you putting the energy into pushing it out, gaslighting it, for Virgo listeners, slave driving it, or for Scorpio natives, trying some weird motivational technique, but really the weird type of motivational, changing diet, thinking that it will do something to your brain. Or when you're really not that type of person. You don't believe in diet, but some exasperation gets you to, what if I change my diet? No, it's definitely not going to be this miraculous occasion when it works, or it works for you, or no, it will be just, right, wasting the energy. The best thing you can do is be aware in that half an hour, that hour, best case scenario, that day, whole day. Even best case scenario, you have your mercurial best friend visiting, or replace best friend brosis, mom, dad, whatever, who is, not the type to leave you to your own device. Let's do together this, that, and usually what they want to do together is useful for you more than anyone else. That's also good. You use the opportunity. When they visit, use it. Because that's the moment when you can accomplish, when you can do, when the masculine side of you is out of bed. It can be half an hour, it can be even a week, right? Use the opportunity, and when it's not, leave it alone. Punishing or any type of deceiving yourself is not gonna work. You ask it why it's down. The answer it will give you, as ridiculous as it is the answer. It is what it is. So, oh, sorry, we have another card. The Five of Pentacles. This makes all this energy even worse. Because let me give you an example of what the Five of Pentacles means. in this context, your life really, in a real way, isn't as bad as it feels like, not in a dramatic, self-victimizing, doomy and gloomy way, but rather in the way where you can only care this much, even in a motivational, ultra positive way. And this state is not necessarily, as I said, depression, not bad, not harmful. It is just where you're almost like sitting at the edge of reality and you're not going back yet. You're sitting there taking your time really to just look at it, see it, contemplate on it, but there's only so far back in that you're comfortable going. So again, even though this, for people who know tarot, may look not so nice, however, trust me, this doesn't feel bad. This feels like, again, when the Buddhist approach or Zen approach of the outsider, being an observer, the sacred neutrality. There is, when we want to achieve that, and it's a journey, there are rare, but there are times when that's what we live automatically. And we are not immersed in it. So it feels weird. But it's useful, right? It is not the inner animal who dislikes it. The inner animal loves it. It loves. Let me give you an example. Most insects, when they're not seen and they are just being, literally to us, they're not doing anything. They're being. That's a state of happiness for them. Total happiness. That's why I'm saying things are just on autopilot. You don't really know how is holding itself together, but it just is. Now let's add another clarifier here. The Queen of Coins reversed. Now I understand the Five of Coins better, because again, sacred neutrality, which in a way is in your state, but not generated by you. If this makes sense. So, again, you can't even be asked to overthink all that much. But that also means that things are not growing visibly, reliably. Like, okay, I am managing, but what about my longer term future? I'm just managing. I'm not growing. And this isn't a feeling. I'm not, and the material is not growth. It is not doom and gloom again. It is not, I don't know, but not growing. Or the Five of Coins can also mean maybe you have a long-term or permanent health problem which has a minor disability to it. For example, you only in your dreams are going to have an 8 to 4, 9 to 5, an 8-hour plus typical job in your dreams. Or put the same health problem, but your profession requires either a presence or your skill needs a physical input. Well, it's wonderful. You still have it. You're growing, right? But not the hours. You can only do very, very little every single day. That very little is gold and beautiful and a piece of your. But are you growing though? Where's your long-term future? Or, and I do believe what I'm gonna say is even for people who haven't chosen this pile, let's look outside the window, and it it's not necessarily my problem, as in this is where me, but this might be very much most of my listeners' problem who have families or who must have families. And what do I say? What do I mean by must have? It's part of their heart's biggest desire, their journeys, their completion, their happiness. They don't necessarily want to have an incarnation without that. Justifiably so. So this is what I mean, must have families. Well, you might be wonderful. Your wife, husband, or whatever family means to you might be truly, there's everything to hope for. But if the world around you, the habitat, or I'm not even, I don't even know what analogy to, if that is not suitable for your morality, value, spirit, or peace, you immediately have a problem. Now you're managing. You might even have the love of your life in your arms. But you can imagine that this is where long-term happiness is really, in a way that its completion is really under a big question mark. Because you don't know. And this is where hope is really the magical type of biblical hope, not necessarily the mercurial hope, where it, of course, I hope because it makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense, but I hope because I feel it. You're living on faith. Again, in the now, let's live in the now. And everything in life matters in the now, because anything else a part of the now is an illusion. True and correct. So right now, what can you do? But what else can you do? So the male, masculine part of you is wise in its own way to, well, okay, but this is the best solution for everyone. But the feminine queen of coins side of you is also very justified, but either I'm not growing or but what's gonna happen? Right? Because I don't want to have a family that I'm gonna send almost certainly into some unhappy future or something that I would not wish on myself, my family, my culture, my enemies, even. So, this is where the more intelligent, the more emotionally sophisticated, refined, evolved a person is in any way, shape, and form. Not doesn't have to be spiritually. That person is more and more and more and more likely to pause the game of life for a bit and look at what they're doing, because they will be responsible for the future of their children. But again, the more intelligent you are, the more it sinks in all the devil's in the details. And, you know, can you imagine that me as someone who gives advice, either as an astrologer or a mystic or whatever, 80% of my advice, and it's not a cliche, because I have to really rub it into the person, this awareness, live in a simplistic way. I don't mean lifestyle. I'm not sending the person back to the jungle. I am sending the person out from the mind, overthinking the small details into the heart, or whatever, even sometimes into the animal that they also are. But many times the advice I say, dude or girl, it's not your mind and the sophisticated psychology that you are dishing out to yourself that is in the right. No, it's the animal, nature. Don't try to, in a way, gaslight. You're not the animal part of you is not your pet in that way. It is, you are it. It's not your pet, you are it. So let it be it at times when the mother nature, this and the forefathers and mothers of whatever human society, even they thought of the moments when the animal has to be happy and be itself. And let me give you an example. Olympic Games. There you go. You even pleased the gods with it. You being just you, the physical being, as showing your muscles, showing your acrobatic, just what a cat does. The Leo part of us. Most cat owners will know that the cat must put on the stretch and and it's not, and you see that it's not the animal, as in it's the animal, but not how we classically understand animal, but that which has grace, that which knows how pretty, beautiful, graceful, elegant, feminine it is. You know what I mean? The cat knows. So what it's doing is art for real, and it's not a human being, right? So we are also that. So we must also put on a show for example, each other, the divine, some people, the camera, and no judgment here. That's their Leo nature. And it's playful, and that's why we cannot judge it. You know what I mean? We can't judge those things. And what I meant, so how does this tie in with everything? The more intelligent you are, the less likely it is that you're just immersed in life and going with the flow. So either you to your or someone must give you the advice, live and trust, just trust life. Even if in due to your intelligence, whatever type of intelligence that is, says no, because trouble's brewing or what, and you will have to weigh that. Libra, the skill, you will have to weigh that. Can I trust it or not? And if you can trust it, then how should I say? You got out of this situation immediately, this state. But chances are you can't trust it because reality has not solidified yet. And a part of you knows it. So this Queen of Coins will only feel the growth and get out of this Five of Coins mode when that future where finally you can grow is settling down. And this is collectively. So the guidance, understand yourself, understand, work with yourself. Okay, so first clarifier is this. Lenormand Tarot, which I recently became quite a fan of, because in my younger years, I wasn't all that much attracted to it, to be totally honest with you. The heart. But what do you want to say with the heart? The book. Okay. Okay. So what this says is that this is the situation. And again, swords with earth, you're really thinking. The part of you which is overthinking really needs to have stability, like something it can trust in a realistic way, which is not yet there, okay, right? However, you can't even be bothered right now. And the guidance here is, I'm not actually saying be ignorant, but I'm saying is, as long as the feeling of you really can be bothered to fear and you just can't be bothered right now is authentic and not something you aggressively upkeep, not you, maybe you don't even generate it. It's not too bad, is it? That means that your heart literally knows something, feels something, trusts something in an authentic, genuine way more than your mind can ever comprehend. The answer is your heart. As much as it frustrates you, annoys you, and the Five of Coins, because this is real. Because you might say, yeah, my heart, I feel so, okay, I feel it. I can't deny that I feel it, but my situation, either no growth, no diploma, how am I gonna get that type of money? Because we're not talking about the now and the small things. We're talking about the big. I don't know, for some people, a house, or I don't know, something big like that in life, security. If you have an illness, disability, or a weakness, I won't be able to do like XYZ, my neighbor, friend, colleague who did it, but with this sacrifice, that sacrifice, time, energy, or their Aries. Yeah. Sorry. Or Capricorn, right? I'm not. So, but despite the reality, Your heart is saying your heart is insistingly feeling what it's feeling. Sometimes there's hopelessness and it swallows us and dark night of the soul. But other times, the light in your heart just doesn't go out no matter what. That's a truth in itself. Like, let's give it credit. Let's trust the mystery. Let's not worry. Let's not be bothered, actually. Even if this is the situation. Even if this. Well, I don't know, but it's almost like it's a translation of Aquarius, future freedom, right? The water bearer. This, the invisible. Aquarius is not purely the knowledge, the in facto. Aquarius is exactly the trust that we have that we will figure it out. There's no basis to this trust. It is just trust. Sagittarius, the arrow of hope with Cancer. My grandmother, grandfather, mother, father, sister, best friend, someone who is important for my soul, lived through some kind of calamity, catastrophe, something worse that I am in. Well, that gives me every reason to hope and believe and use my faith, my trust in the invisible, right? And the Cancer energy, that family member, this person, or something that gives me emotional motivation, whatever that is, let me embrace that. Faith. And look, the arrow, the intention. Oh, don't break. Oh, there. The intention, the moving power that this type of I trust that I'm gonna figure it out. I trust in my larger intelligence. Again, that doesn't mean the typical I'm going to school, simply my being's intelligence. The most intelligent people I know don't even have high school, right? Aries. The Aries, Mars retrograde, and the other, this you will get, it will get you there. It will get you. The volcano is smoking. He's long past the danger zone. And for the co-pilot, it's fun. Trust the journey. It will get you there. You don't it, but neither does he. He just has the dream to jump with the parachute. He won't really know anything else, and he will trust it just. Sorry, he and most people who jump with the parachute for the first time. There are Aquarius. We're both unique and all that, but we're also just like everyone and anything else. The parachute first time. It was, in a way, fun and unique and unimaginable for my best friend the same way it's gonna be just for me. I cannot imagine it until I actually jump for the first time. That trust, you just trust it. This is the guidance, because that's how the fact that you can't see in a rational way your growth or whatever this means to you, money, house, love, a situation, that I'm gonna be okay or whatever for the next 6 months is not necessarily a problem. Because on one hand, there is something in your heart, a mystery, a feeling that you can't identify. What am I feeling? But I'm feeling something, and it's mysterious. There's that. And like you just know that this time around, whatever luck, God, chance, your powers, that will not fail you. I'm not saying, and neither is the cards, that you're already in, everything's done. What I'm saying is that the next 3 months is gonna be okay. It's gonna be definitely, even if you don't feel it that way, a massive milestone towards a more stable future, right? It's gonna be okay. Even if you don't see how it can be all that wonderful or loving or the okay factor, but it's gonna be. And no, a part of you doesn't even give all that much of a worry. That's a good type of mystery, right? Either insanity, absolutely, or mystery, but I think it's a mystery. So this is the guidance. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you everyone with the first file. So hello everyone who chose the second. It's gonna be just the same as for the first. Let's see. Guidance for the next 3 months with everything included. And I'll try not necessarily to make it predictive, but okay. The Emperor, the Hermit. And this card, the Ten of Swords reversed, the same as for the previous pile. They also had this. And I need one more to, I got two more. This is a bit, well, for you guys who chose the second one, this is a very, very, very karmic period. But the big picture is karmic. So it is where these years are heavily karmic. You might have a moment of respite, and this for some even in a bad sense, where I am on my journey towards the Hermit, in progress, construction underway, or immersed in something. But right now, in these months or whatever, I'm done with. I am totally tired, or my brain refuses I can't. And sometimes it might not be you personally of what you're doing or not doing, the whole that is going on outside externally. For many, you can't take this, so your life is paused, because you can't really do much when 99% of other people, including animals, are living an insanity, a collective insanity, and you're actually seeing it for what it truly is. You're not gonna be a Ten of Swords. Well, it's not defeat, because even you know that It has nothing to do with you, your story, your choices, because you are a person full of solutions and to do and innovate and dreams. But, like, would you would you miraculously live your dreams you wouldn't want to in the present moment, circumstance of the world, the state of the world? You know what I mean? Like, you're stopped. Your soul is stopped. And this is a big problem for you. Why? Well, the emperor, you are definitely the to do, or replace to do with the real, let's get real type of person, whatever that means to you. In as a soul, actually not in, as a soul. You love reality in the sense that if I feel something, if I want something, if I believe in something, let me, for example, a principle, let me embody it. For example, the alchemist's journey. This is just for example purposes. And especially because this deck is the alchemist journey deck, right? For some people, this consists of 99% reading, having evenings when they read. For other people, this consists of little bit of reading, little bit of meditation, little bit of psychology, little bit of let me go and try this course, that course. But 50% the other is nights and days with their spiritual bro, sis, their soul tribe, basically. That's what it consists of. For other people, this consists of the shadow life, where they're a citizen. For example, my case, they are citizen and their name, me Otila. But that they don't live. That's not, they're not there 80% of the time. 80% of the time they're on the philosophical or magical or spirit, but is where you're not spiritual. You are the spirit in another person's, animals, whatever is like. You are a spirit. And many times it's literal because your body, like is sitting in a chair right now, but your spirit is doing shit. It's somewhere else. It's involved. It's the processor, right? Everyone has their journey in their own. For other people, and I actually know someone, actually take this literally. They have a Virgo ascendant. For them, it's kind of, and Leo sun. So it's easy because, yeah, the real deal hermit. Going away from society to the farm or farmland, or you know what I mean, growing vegetables, dog or cat or whatever, solo, hermit, Virgo. Hermit. I'm not saying that they're not visiting family once a year or something, but the real deal. Like, you can't ask for the journey or alchemy or whatever more real than that. Whatever the journey and the grand purpose of the journey means for everyone. For some people, it's something professional. I want and here, let me give you example that I actually heard from you guys. So this is you got me giving back what I heard either personally or through comments or whatever from you guys. my retreat, my farm, me being this and that type of healer, my where I'm a healer already, but I want the muscle of the experience. I want 20-year experience already. Or that, or this magic, that magic, this dimension, that dimension, this healing, that healing, all these beautiful dreams and journeys and purposes and quests for knowledge and understanding and all the beauty that you guys share with me. It's that, really. But the big purpose of that, right? The glittery, the gold, the juice of that. But the juice, the journey is also there, the not so easy sides of the journey. And right now, the not so easy side of the journey is where it's for the first time, maybe ever, it's not really something that you can say, I did this or not, or it just is where you even understand your being why it would have moments of breakdown. But again, the breakdown or burnout moment is already in a masochistic way nice. A welcomed break. So this is where sometimes you even laugh about it. But the Sun and the Emperor, the other uncomfortable side to this, because the journey is a bit stopped. Not, again, in a defeat way, but in a, maybe you're a sailor and there's a massive hurricane, but you're supposed to sail out today. You're not out of your mind, are you? Everyone will wait until the storm passes you. This is, the storm, it is what it is. Well, I'm gonna get to my whatever big dream, but the storm needs to at least clear, because otherwise, that means, well, right now things are about you. What exactly makes you happy? But this, not in an average way, this is like a knife that cut to your heart. The auto-psychoanalytical surgeon's knife is in the very core of your heart. So even though this looks so positive, it's like a positive big pain as well. A positive pain, if that makes sense. Because it is going beyond the superficial, beyond five senses. It is going into childhood. It is going into what life didn't give you and it gave others. And the difference, the discriminatory. It is going to sensitive stuff. So even though it's towards healing, it's weird. This isn't the type of healing you ever experienced. Let me give you an example. You're not living that. I'm never getting this promotion at job. I'm not getting it, no matter what sacrifice and no matter what I do. But for the first time, you will not say, I'm unlucky, they're unfair, they're a-holes, they're whatever. But you're saying, because I know full well that I am making myself into a black sheep through my belief system. And I'm supposed to be that. I'm not supposed to. I'm perfect who I am right now because I'm challenging BS. That's why BS is not supporting me. That's why I'm not getting the job, the position, the raise, because the BS is not supporting me because I'm challenging it with. I think that because I blindly follow rules, everything's a-okay. No, BS is alive. It feels that you're challenging it with your heart. You're challenging it. This in itself, you're you're actually getting medals by spirit. Spirit is supporting you. Spirit is feeding your rebellious side, and you're thinking that you have to fight against yourself maximally, and you're not winning. Thinking falsely that that's what you're supposed to do because spirit is waiting on you, and you're not realizing that spirit is feeding exactly what you're fighting because it needs that. How else can spirit tell your job or whatever is blocking you that you're full of BS and I'm not buying it? Only this way. Making you a big value or a powerhouse in something, and the underdog in impossibility. This is where, and now this is a bit, delicate, but I have to say it. When there's a king and he has a good servant, but the good servant comes from a nation or whatever he enslaved, and most of the servants' country, or how you say it, brethren or fellow people, are living in inhumane and blah 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 conditions. So each and every time the king compliments the servant and treats him, the more equally the king treats the servant's spirit screams in agony, right? The servant spirit is crying rivers. You see how life is sometimes. How the pleasure and the nice and the earthly is the opposite in spirit. And it's supposed to be like that. Because the universe is fair. And that means that many times the earthly suffers for the spirit to be happy. The spirit needs to pay with the same coin, pay with the same, do the same when it's the spirit's turn. This is the way spirit cannot bully matter. Not in 2024. All what I said, yes, beautiful, correct. The universe is perfect. Masterpiece. Not in 2024 when everything is changing and is on. What's happening? Well, simply said in a nutshell, a multitude of possibilities because we evoke in a false way. I'm so sorry to even say this, but the years from 2012 onwards, that's a false light. It did its job. You can't judge it. But anyway, what's the problem? The manifestation tornado. Like, it's too late already. Dimensions and realities are right now, as we speak, collapsing into each other like a dough, where that's the dough, because the different compository elements are now just one mesh. That's what it's doing. The dough is being knit. The wonderful, let me be happy, and I deserve all the happiness in the world, in a blind way, this is the result, that we're breaking reality but now in a literal way. No symbolism. Look at I don't even know the extent to which how I should start explaining this. Not only that everything is Mandela effect now, the whole internet is one big Mandela stuff, especially for generations who remember the 80s, who lived in the 80s. What they say the 80s is now, and all the clips on the internet, that's not how the real 80s were, like, right? Me and everyone I know, my generation, and this includes like classmates who are not into the spiritual and are not conspiracy people, even they will admit that something's weird, because this isn't what I lived. So this is not just me, this is mostly everyone from my generation. So, right? Reality is literally, visibly, livably breaking in front of our eyes. And everyone has paranormal occurrences, glitches happening in their lives right now, one way or another. Like absolutely everyone. All of it's not even funny anymore. Yes, chances, possibilities, even in our own lives, even in our own soul matrix, even different versions of us are crashing into one another, canceling one another out, but others are merging. It's a soup, it's the dough. So don't expect things to be normal. That is what I'm saying. So this is where you're being healed, but you this is weird for you. And like it or not, life is about the self right now. Very almost to the point that it's highly uncomfortable. You don't want to dig anymore, but you need to, because otherwise the wall won't break. Otherwise, even the hermit needs to reach his hot cabin, resting place, feeding place, or whatever. The hermit needs a moment of safety, etc., etc. Every pilgrim will need a moment of rest and respite, right? So, yeah. And right now you're stopped, but you need to figure what makes you the type of happy which will keep the hermit moving through the storm, which will keep the hermit not just stay alive, but prosper. Because the hermit's journey is not easy. But this is the moment when you realized the only thing I'm doing wrong, just one tiny little thing. And that's that the divine feminine inside of you advised the divine masculine side of you in a incorrect way, where you were advised to keep on walking on your journey. It's supposed to be melancholic and harsh and hard. The harder it is, the sadder it is, the better. This is just certain roads. The darker, lonelier, colder, winterier roads in life. A road, just one road. And of course, autumn. It's cold but so beautiful. The good kind of melancholic, right? However, there are other roads as well, which make the harsh roads, when you have to follow them, have a good meaning and feel like a true adventure. So that's why happiness must be part of the journey, not just the harshness, not just the enough. The journey has to have happy parts as well. So what does happiness mean to you? This is the next 3 months. And it is going to be as pleasant or as painful as you make it. Denial and asking, why does this make me even happy? It doesn't make any sense. Makes it hard. Accepting, and how do I integrate this in my life in a or my faith in a different way? Like, let me give you an example. There are spiritualists who embrace sensuality big time, and it's a big power source for them. There are spiritualists who abstain from it and they alchemize differently. Sensuality will be the sacrifice on the altar forever. What if times change in both examples? It's not an easy transit, but you need understanding of what happiness means to you. Again, the scourge and the rat. Stop. Your self-reward system is pretty... Oh, the cameras. Rat. Well, ultimately, not very fair. You're not fair to yourself. You're cruel to yourself. This is where you give yourself just crumbs. You give yourself always someone else's first. And if there isn't someone else, then there are no breadcrumbs either. You need to hermit's journey, okay. But on one hand, physical earthly life has a non-hermit's journey, magic, sacred side as well. And the other thing is that whatever is the journey is for you, well, it has a lot of not having in your life willingly what most other people take for granted. Okay, it enslaves them, but don't be a harsh slave driver, or don't be way too harsh on yourself. Don't, because this is where some traumas in your life are due to, you're the author. This is where you can't blame absolutely anyone. On the contrary, maybe you distanced people away from yourself who wanted to and were caught on to what's going on inside of you, and this, no, don't do that. I don't need your sympathy. So this is where you're also seeing your cruelty and where you were the rat in your life. In order to protect the harshness, you said, no, if I'm not kind to myself, I'm neither allowing you, whoever that you is, to be kind to me. No, bye. This is what you're taught right now, in the sense that don't do this anymore. Be fair. Harshness is okay. Harshness in itself is no problem. Neither is inner self slave driving. as long as you're fair. This combines the energy of Leo and Leo and Taurus. So basically Sun and Venus. And this Aries and Libra. So Mars and Venus. Mars retrograde. And I just feel it. Okay. Uh, I do believe this is also confirming. So look at the image. She owns the world, right? The nobility. The world is mine. But also gifting the world. How easy it is for you to be in a certain way when it comes to others. Give a certain respect, a quality, a standard, sacrifice, spending, even money, pleasure, luxury. And with pleasure, I also mean that type of pleasure. Pleasure. What are your sensual sexual tendencies? Ask your submissiveness certain questions. Where do they come from? Why do you want to please so much? And you will have answers there. But be fair. Be fair. Either where do for yourself, not more, just enough as what you do for others, or if there is a hero insistingly knocking at the door. Let me in, let me help you, because you need help, sweetie. Let them in and don't push them away. Don't push someone away. And finally, this is where, again, know your true value, not relation with others, even relation to the self. Know your true value. It shouldn't be all that very much natural for others to value you more than you yourself, even if your life is okay because you have sufficient value there. Because you don't, but you get what I mean. So these are the big lessons that will come in the next 3 months. So thank you everyone for listening. And until next time, bye for now. And finally, those who chose the third pile, the same thing as for the previous ones, guidance for the next 3 months. And I will also try to make it not very predictive. Wheel of Fortune. 9 of Cups. Oh my goodness, this is is this some kind of trick or because in tarot this two combination is way too good to be true. And it's way too good to be true. Oh, well, that escalated very quickly. Now I trust it. So, before the Seven of Swords, I said, come on, really? Just like that? But yeah. Well, it's not even that bad, to be honest with you. So for okay. First, I'll start with the weirdness, and then I'll follow through with for some of you guys. Well, I know that this is gonna sound a bit crazy, but you're gonna meet him or her, whatever that means. It doesn't need to be romantic, but they're gonna be either in a very, very poorly conditioned, disadvantaged beggar, homeless, wounded, in grave danger, very, 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 very vulnerable. So, an important soul in your life who probably you do not know yet, as per se. So, not necessarily past, but you feel but anyway, when I say you feel a connection, Aquarius, age of Aquarius, so that's a cliche already. Don't even take it seriously, right? And I'm telling, don't take it, but that's the only way I can explain it. You feel them, that, but age of, again, how many souls do we not, of course we feel. That's not anything even spectacular already, yeah. So, but they're very, 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 very vulnerable. But it's part of the story. The vulnerability is the key, is everything. That is what, if they would not be vulnerable, and of course, in tarot, whenever I say them, well, there is a possibility when it's you, really. When you are this. And they are you, you get what I mean. But then, anyway, that must be that way because that is the only way mask is truly off and you see the soul for what it is, or vice versa. Because you're not an easy person, I get it from this. You're not someone who dishes their heart on the plate or opens them. No, you're infinite mystery or stubborn onion where I'm not letting you see my layers. No, 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 no. If you want to see me, cut me. No. But the vulnerability makes everything, I don't know. But for everyone else, thank you for this. For everyone else, well, of course it is a type of Wheel of Fortune and Nine of Cups wish fulfillment. But I don't know if this is like an opportunity, a connection, or you getting somewhere. For example, mixed into the right crowd, right connections, right club, or I don't know, right path to get where a wish fulfillment, right? But the Seven of Swords, it's something where it's both real and not. Where it's real in the sense that, yes, your wish was fulfilled, but it's not necessarily satisfactory or not the real deal, even if it is. It comes with a bit of an illusion. It comes with a bit of a twist. It comes with a bit of futility in it, where it's not the wish fulfillment really what is the highlight of the show. The wish fulfillment itself is it's not Fata Morgana, because it's not disappointment whatsoever in any way, shape, and form. It is not disappointing, especially Cups energy, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, philosophically, whatever, that's how you know it's wish fulfillment. But the Seven of Swords, it's not what you said, not what you thought, not or how you thought, when you thought, or you didn't see it coming, or whatever is tied into the wish fulfillment, that eclipses the wish fulfillment itself. It is almost like you can't even be before. It's so important to you, this wish or getting there, or this Jupiterian moment. Finally, there, after, it doesn't even matter anymore because something excites you more, or something is very, very serious. This is where there's the way where you enter a game, first playing a tutorial and then easy mode trying it out, or no tutorial, extra the hardest difficulty from first second. This is that. Okay, it's not what you thought, and you see the wish fulfillment, you're happy, but your eye is immediately on something else, something bigger, something better, something more serious. And these cards is where either you help a situation gravely, as in you're a saving grace, or your wish fulfill, whatever this is, something good or a moment of power, something for you will mean infinitely more for another person. So what it means for you is even laughable, even to you, even though it's so important. The fact that either it's useful for someone else or it does a much greater good twists the situation into something else. Or where the fact that you have an illness, vulnerability, disability, you're disadvantaged, you're the underdog or something, that makes it wonderful, as in that's the best possible thing that could have happened to you, or this on this story, this situation. So in the next 3 months, you're getting closer to something like a completion or something that you wished for. And even though it's not gonna even feel all that special, even with a bit of futility, then your hopes of it is still something. Whatever results from it is the true miracle or whatever. So the futility it even makes it better for you. So not the disappointing type of situation where it was an illusion or it was just a trail of breadcrumbs. F you, universe, because you deceived me. Not that. The tower. The tower in this tarot is not that tower that we fear. The messenger. I don't need to. This just confirms. Flower bouquet is when something completes, and how nice, how lovely. Wow, finally. The wish fulfillment. But again, don't understand it literally. Something that you wished for or worked towards and important for you is coming. Now, this means that it's dynamic. Either someone facilitates it, and that's how it's coming after the tower. A lot of sacrifice or effort or something Saturnian. Like you've been through something. So of course it feels like, but it will be the power it gives you, not it, but how it makes you feel. in the sense that the actions it will allow you to take. Actions which for now, you can't even dream of them. For other people, it's not what completes that will matter for you, but the hero or gallant or lord, lady, or doing something massive for a person who you love. So, and not just love in a typical way, but the happiness of that person is the honey for you. Nothing in this incarnation could make you happier. So for you, that's the max. Nothing, not even if, I don't know, Christ descends from the heavens, could make you as happy as the happiness of that person. So this is something where, even though fate is twisted, the universe is like, have you ever watched Surprise Surprise, that show? You're the guest and the universe is the talk show host. So expect the music when it's surprise, surprise, And finally, another confirmation, if we can. Scorpio, permanent transformation. Cancer. You see, I'm not controlling these. Only 12 cards from the 80 or something like that. Let me just. How many cards are there in this deck? 78. Okay. So 78 that are just the signs themselves. Permanent change, Scorpio. Cancer, embracing. So a change becomes permanent. Or, something is born. Something that you nurtured is born. But look at this. Is it a dream? Is it reality? Something that is a dream becomes real. It's not what you expect, but it's not in an inferior way, not in a bad way. So you guys are in for some again, surprise, surprise. And also the past. This is all the battles you fought. That's why it's a surprise. You'd not expect it to. You don't expect something here. You definitely don't. And again, look at the hardship. Look at the level of even bitterness. That's why wish fulfillment, but still, it's not going to impress you all that much. However, so yeah, this concludes the reading. Thank you everyone for listening. I'm wishing everyone blessed celebrations and of course a blessed new year. I will try to make 2020 the big astrology of 2025 video, but I if I say fatigue, that's a bit of a lie, because it outside of my body that I can function. I really can function. It took me almost a month for me to sit down and do this. A month of motivation. And so, you know what I mean? So thank you, everyone. I hope that I'll hurry up with the big transits and the astrology of 2025 video. And if I can, I may also do a tarot video for 2025, but that is definitely not promised. And thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the care, for the generosity. Thank you for all the magic that you have sent my way this year and for keeping me alive. Until next time, bye for now.